We got the Indianapolis Colts going out to Green Bay to face the Green Bay Packers in a Week 2 matchup. Both teams lost their first game. You got the Colts losing against the Texans in a very close game, and also the Packers lose against the Eagles in also a very, very close game in Brazil. I've already recapped the Brazil game. I've already did a preview and a post game. So if you haven't seen those, check those out real quick and then come back to the video. Now, before we get into the game, I just want to show you the injury destinations for the Colts as of right now. Julian Blackmon, their starting safety, is ruled out, which I think that is a big blow for their secondary because their secondary already isn't too good, as it already started with him. DeForest Buckner, Josh Downs, and Kwity Paye. I'm so sorry. I am terrible at announcing names. You guys already know that. But they're all questionable. Then Matt Gay is going to be playing. And for the Packers, you're seeing on your screen right now, Kenny Clark, Edgerrin Cooper, Josh Jacobs, Corey Ballantyne most likely will all play. Marshawn Lloyd is definitely one of the bigger question marks. Now, I know you see Jordan Love on there too, but we all know he's not going to play. I mean, I would love for him to play, but it's going to take at least a couple weeks for that ankle to heal. Or I'm sorry, that MCL to heal. Quay Walker should play, but like I said, my biggest concern is Marshawn Lloyd. He sat out last week, but of course, is he going to play this week? We shall see. The first thing we're going to be talking about in today's video is we're going to be going over the Colts side of the ball first, and then we're going to go to the Packers side. So last week, the Colts lost against the Houston Texans 27-29. I thought their offense played okay. You see the stats on the screen. Anthony Richardson had 9 completions for 19 attempts, which is not too good, but 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But he also had 56 rushing yards, so he sort of kind of was efficient in making yards, but when it came to completing the passes, was not too good. Jonathan Taylor also had a little bit of a slow game. He only had 3 yards per carry, on 16 attempts, 48 yards. But Alec Pierce was definitely the standout player on this offense with 3 targets, 3 receptions, and also 125 yards and a touchdown. And the Colts offensive line was also really, really good last week against a very good defensive line for the Houston Texans. They're definitely a top 5 ranking out of the whole week last week compared to the rest of the NFL. So the Colts offensive line was really good last week. Now the Colts defense though definitely had some question marks, especially with that run defense. They gave up a whole bunch of yards to Joe Mixon. I know it was a lot of carries, but still, it was like 5.6 yards per carry. He also gave up a touchdown. They had a field day all over that run defense for the Colts. And their pass game wasn't too good either. They gave up a couple of touchdowns to CJ Stroud, no turnovers. But then, again, this Texans offense is really, really good, so it's kind of anticipated for the Colts to kind of struggle there. I mean, probably a lot of teams would struggle against the Houston Texans offense. So their passing game wasn't too good. Their defense overall wasn't too hot. They had a couple of sacks, which is good. But the offense, like I said, with Anthony Richardson being all over the place, only completed 9 passes. He's really inconsistent. We're going to see this questionable mark for the offense because they're just so wishy-washy. Now, going to the Packers side of the ball, they lost to the Eagles last week, 29-34. And we all know Jordan Love will not be playing this game. Like I said, as of right now, I'm recording this. He's technically not ruled out yet, but I'm 99.99% sure he's going to be ruled out. So we will have Malik Willis going to be the starting quarterback, and we all know he was with the Titans, and he really wasn't that good. The thing I was impressed with last week was the Packers' run offense. They had 163 yards on 21 total carries, was averaging 7.8 yards per carry. That's actually one of the best run games I've ever seen with the Packers, even with Aaron Jones. And of course, we all know that Jaden Reed completely bought out in the last game against the Eagles with 138 passing yards, and then like 33 yards rushing. He had 2 touchdowns total. Jaden Reed was definitely the player of the game for the Packers game last week. And now the Packers offensive line, basically other than Zach Tom and Jordan Morgan, the rest of the offensive line was kind of caca because, of course, the center was the biggest issue for the Packers. I swear it always is. I talked about it many, many times. So the Packers offensive line is like the left side of the ball is good, but the center and the right side is not too good. So I will say the Colts offensive line is definitely a lot better than the Packers offensive line. Now, when it came to the Packers defense last week, it was a lot of question marks too, just like the Colts. They had 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions, which one by Jair and then one by Xavier. But the run defense, I will say the Eagles ran the ball a lot that game, but still gave up a whole bunch of yards, typical Packers defense. And, you know, they gave up a lot of missed tackles. Like, their missed tackle rate was through the roof against the Eagles. But I guess you can kind of give them slack because of the terrible field conditions. I don't really know, but I'm not making that excuse. So the Packers defense is definitely 50-50, just like the Colts is. So I think, in my personal opinion, I think this Colts and the Packers game is going to be high scoring. Whether, you know, Malik Willis is starting quarterback, whatever, I still think it's going to be a high scoring game. I will say the biggest thing to watch in this game is definitely the Packers offense versus the Colts defense. And, you know, with Malik Willis, like I keep saying, he's going to be starting. You know, you assume that the Packers are going to be running the ball a lot with Josh Jacobs, maybe do a lot of sweeps with Jaden Reed, but especially if DeForest Buckner is out, that's like the biggest player on their defense, and he played really, really good last week. And as of right now, he's actually a game time decision, and you already got Julian Blackmon already out for this game, and that's their starting safety. So if DeForest Buckner ends up being ruled out, this Packers offense, even with Malik Willis, I still think can score over 20 points for sure. But then again, it's just about, you know, how good Malik Willis is going to be. We really don't know because the time he's played with the Titans, you know, completely just not good. He only had a couple touchdowns, more turnovers than touchdowns. So we really don't know, but you know that he can scramble. There's just a lot of question marks with Malik Willis, and it's just, all I know is that, you know, the Packers offense compared to the Titans offense back then with the offensive line, the weapons, etc., the coaches, is significantly better than the Titans. So hopefully there's a little bit small hope there, but we just got to find out on Sunday. And my personal opinion, I do think, like I said earlier, it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I do think it's going to be close. I mean, of course, I want the Packers to win because I'm a Packer fan, you know, and I think that starting the season 0-2 is a horrible start for any team, no matter who you are. But I just don't know, man. Like I keep saying, Malik Willis is such a big question mark, and I just don't know how he's going to really play out because he hasn't been good in the previous past. So realistically, I think the Colts could win this game, especially if Josh Downs ends up playing, and like I said, DeForest Buckner stays. I think the Colts can absolutely win this game. But it's just, if those two players are ruled out, that's a big change, and I think the Packers can win. So it really depends on the injury report for this week. Like I said, Jordan Love ain't playing. So if you think that he's playing, no, absolutely not. So I would say DeForest Buckner, Josh Downs, if they both get ruled out, I think the Packers win. But realistically, I think they're going to play. I do. And I think the Colts are going to end up winning this game, at least in my prediction. Again, I'm going to be rooting for the Packers no matter what, but I have to be realistic here. It can't follow my heart. So Colts fans, if you're watching this, definitely like the video because I got the Colts win this game. I'm going to say the score of like 30-27. I think that, again, it's going to be a high-scoring game for sure because both defenses cannot really show up whenever that matters. Final score, Colts 30, Packers 27. It is what it is. I'm going to give you a root for the Packers, but got to be realistic. But if you do like it, hit that like button, comment down below what your biggest reaction is. Subscribe if you're brand new, but I'm out of here. Deuces.